guys, we're going to start part 2 of this tutorial, which is the Affinity version. First thing I'm going to see is if I can just open up the Photoshop version that we just did, because we're going to do the same concepts but a little bit different design. And let's see if you will open up, my friend. So Affinity can open Photoshop files, but Photoshop can't open Affinity files. So oh, did it save my strokes? Let me see. If it saved my layers and all that good stuff, we might be in for a little treat. So let's go layer by layer. Matter of fact, I'm going to drag this layer out here. Snap it there so I can see what's going on. Let me Control plus so I can zoom in a little bit, see what I'm working with. So we'll turn off everything except the top layer for right now. And let's see. Okay. It did keep the gold glitter clipped inside the text. It's in my did not save as the smart object, of course, because Affinity doesn't have smart objects. However, if you wanted to keep it the same effect, you would just type in it's in my in some type of script font. The font for that was in the Photoshop tutorial, and then the DNA, it saved it as a pixel, but it did clip the fingerprint into it, and it clipped the glitter. All right, good deal. And it looks I'm looking at the Photoshop version of it and it looks identical. So that's what's up on that. Cool beans. Let's turn that off. This one back on. Let's see what we're working with on this football one. Did you save? Now, anything that I had saved as a smart object in Photoshop, of course, does not translate to Affinity. So if you see like the logo and some other things, I think this logo isn't even on here. Yeah, it's not even visible. But let's see if I wanted to drop this logo on top of my DNA. Could I clip it in there? Could I? And then make it visible. Oh, cool. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Got a little too ahead of myself. Not the pan tool, let's use the move tool. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm starting to learn what things are compatible and what things are not. Yeah, we're getting a little bit better with this. And I was just playing with that to see if it would clip in, but I'm going to leave it there in case you like it there. And then it's got a stroke effect on it right now. We're going to turn the outline off, close it. Just leave that as is. Matter of fact, I might even put it on the D. Maybe even make an alt version, put it on the N, then put it on the A. Who knows? Y'all play with that. You can even make a little print. Alright, so I'm happy that that came in. The football came in with the elements of the football itself, the logo, and okay. So it even brought in the clipping mask. Y'all, this is cool. So now I'm starting to learn when I make a Photoshop template, for the most part, as long as I'm aware of how I'm using smart objects, it will pull in. And it's just technically a template. So what we're going to do, we're not going to recreate everything that I did here. I'm just showing you what we did in the Photoshop version, so you know that you will have these. We did another one with the flag and brought that in there, and then we did one more. What was that? Oh, well, we just, with the plain logo, we just put a white offset to it so it stood off from the plain fingerprint. So you already have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these layers in this template. So 4 different setups of the same It's in My DNA sort of layout. So you want to see how exactly I created those. I created them in Photoshop, but now we're about to do the same type of things with Affinity. And let me go ahead and remove the watermark there, and let's get to it. So this time, instead of using the fingerprint, we're going to use the lips. Let's go to my temp file, and I have an SVG of some lips that I vectored. I'm going to bring them on, and I don't know where this dropped. Okay, I see where it dropped, right on top. Okay, so this is a popular type of layout as well, where you have your lips. We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to put flag in there, we'll put logo on there, we'll put glitter on there, and maybe even a combination of the set. And let's go ahead and get started. So with this tutorial, the same way we did with the fingerprint, we're starting with something that has a transparent background. So if I were to remove this background right now, you see that I don't have anything behind here. Now I did that on purpose. If you know how to trace, then you know how to create vectors. It doesn't have to be vector, it just needs to be at least a PNG where you have some transparent areas. So I just went ahead and made it vector so that it would be as clean as possible. No matter how I blew it up, it wouldn't be pixelated. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same type of design, but instead of it's in my DNA, this is another popular design that I've been seeing, and it's your approval isn't needed. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to see if, honestly, if I can open this one up. If it saves my fonts, let's see if it'll open that up. Layers clipped to groups are not supported. So that's cool. What I really wanted to see is if it was just going to save all my fonts. Nope, it turned all my fonts into images pretty much. Yeah, because you see how it says pixel here. Well, that's fine, because all I'm going to do is just go ahead and recreate this anyway from scratch for you guys. So you will know how to do this from scratch whether you purchase a template or not. If you purchase a template, you'll know how to play with it and how the ins and outs of it. If you don't purchase the template, then you will know how to create this from scratch. And it may take you a little while longer than me doing it on this video, because you'll have to learn some of these things, but in the long run, you're teaching yourself, so that's invaluable. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and open my alternate file up in Photoshop so I can see what my fonts are, so we don't waste a lot of time doing that. And we're going to create the same exact setup. So we'll do the Saints girl. I'm looking at my Photoshop right now. I'm going to see what I have set up for my font. And it looks like the name of that font is Allegory. So let's just get right on into it and start typing. So I'm going to go ahead and click one time on my artboard with my text tool, and I'm going to just, before I even type, go ahead and increase the size to where I can see it. So let's say Saints Girl, exclamation point. Y'all, my talk to text is so tired of me saying exclamation point. I really do try to add enthusiasm in all of my correspondence with you guys. So I don't like to text like with my fingers on this little phone. So I'm often talking to text. So every other sentence, exclamation point, exclamation point. So yeah. Just know that I really do take a lot of extra effort to add exclamation points to the end of every statement that I do talk to text when I'm responding to you guys. So Saints Girl, we said that one's going to be Allegory. Let's see, Allegory. And bring that to the middle. And then anything else that I'm going to do in Allegory or the same style, I'm going to go ahead and create the layer effect and everything that I want with this one right now, and then I can just duplicate it for other parts of the text, and I'm going to do the same exact way. So right now I have the text itself. I'm going to do a glitter layer, so let me find, I have some glitter. It's in my, has some glitter. And I only need this little bar of glitter. So It's in My has this bar of glitter. You can go find you some glitter online if you like. Basically, I will tell you everything to look up. This particular swatch was created from a listing of vinyl. So it was a swatch of vinyl, and I just duplicated it 3 times, merged it all together. And in Photoshop, what we did was we right-clicked and did a clipping mask. So in this program, we're going to drag it over. And that easy, we have glitter clipped inside of our text. If you didn't know it was that easy and you were scared of this before, just throw it out the window. You got it in the bag now. Like, it's nothing else to fear. You got this. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is do a outline. So let's go to our effects. Let's choose outline. I'm going to pull this over to the side so we can see what's going on. And let's increase this radius a little bit. Oh, that was a Gaussian blur. No Gaussian blur, we do not want you. We want outline. Yeah, don't judge my mock accent there. All right, so outline, we're going to increase this radius. I love Affinity for some of the preview options, but this whole stroke, and it scares me every time it starts to show and it looks kind of cruddy, but the stroke function actually does really well in this program. So that, I have a stroke on there, and then I also have a little bit of a drop shadow. So let's do, what do they call it here? Just an outer shadow. We'll add that opacity a little bit so we can see. Well, we'll add it all the way so we can see where it's going. We'll increase that radius and that offset. Come on, let me see something. Well, let's increase this intensity a little bit too. So I'll start to see something that I'm happy with and that I'm okay with. The other thing is I have a little bit of a bevel and emboss going on with this Photoshop version. And on the Photoshop version, those watching this, creating the same design, you can, everything that I'm saying, you can do in Affinity and Photoshop. I'm just showing you all that, yes, I'm going to go through some exact steps with you, but you're going to be using your engineering brain where you just figure out how to problem solve no matter what you're working in, because all of these things are going to start to be very similar and consistent in how you would use them. All right, so we got our bevel and emboss. That makes it look a little 3D on us. Let's see if we need to reduce this a little bit. There we go. And let's close that for now. So on my other design, I have the word Saints Girl, and then I have the word who I am, or words who I am. So I think on this program I can just double click on the words and it'll allow me to start changing type, maybe. Let's see if I just start typing. Oh shoot, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, let me just grab my text tool then. It got a little crazy with me. I thought, okay, I was gonna say, I thought when I clicked on it, it let me change it. So let's delete this and we're going to say who I am. We'll click out of this and see if it updates. It should have. Oh, it dragged without giving me my glitter clip, which is fine. What we'll do is grab this glitter clip, we'll hold down Alt to create another version of it, and we're going to clip it down. Oh, I guess it did not Alt. Let me duplicate, and then I'll move it, because I'm not sure why it wasn't duplicating it. I have to make sure that Alt actually works as a duplicating feature in this program. So right now, the reason why we don't see the glitter in the text because it's up high, we can bring it down to where this who I am is. And that is now in place. So Saints Girl, who I am, and isn't needed. So I should be able to take the same thing and duplicate this. And that time when I duplicated it, it did duplicate with the fill inside of it. So I don't know if I had to close it or make sure I was on that layer when I duplicated it. And let's double click in this one. I'll just single click with the text and make it easier. We will spell out isn't needed, and I messed up on my other file because I put my apostrophe in the wrong place. Oof. All right, that goes to show with, matter of fact, let me go ahead and end this file, check my spelling, checks of these spellings. Alright, so we've got isn't needed, and then I have a few other little fonts going on. Yeah, you see how Photoshop was telling me isn't is not in the dictionary. Thank you, Photoshop. This is why you want to spell check before you submit designs, because sometimes you just don't catch things like this. Let me change it. Spell check is complete. Okay, so I have my Saints Girl, who I am, and isn't needed. So now I need the I am. So we'll go ahead, and for this one, I'm going to just type new text, and we'll do our own new effect to that. So let's do a new text area. We'll click on the artboard, and we'll type I, capital I am. And the font that I'm going to use for this, I use it a lot, so I know what it is when I see it. It's Baby's New, and I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but that is how I say it every time. I have to say new. Don't know why, and I don't know if that's correct either. So we got I am, and then what we're going to do for the I am is we're going to add a stroke, and instead of a solid color outline in Photoshop, it will be a stroke, and here is going to be an outline. We're going to do a gradient instead of a solid color, and for the gradient, I wonder, does it save presets? I'm pretty sure it does. I have to get on my breath all the time for saying pretty sure, and like, pretty sure, but you didn't research anything? How are you pretty sure? Anyhow, I should hope that there is a way to save these gradients, but since I don't have it right in front of me, I'm going to teach you how to make your own gradient. So we're going to use the color and the glitter to determine how we're going to color this. So our first stop, we're going to click on the color, go to our eyedropper, and choose one of the darkest bits there. And we're going to click on the circle to apply that color. And then we're going to come to the last color, and same thing, we're going to choose one of the darker colors, because I like to start and end my gradients dark. Okay, so we'll hit the button to apply that, and it is a little different, and that's cool. So now we can choose this one that's a little bit different. We tap on it one time, tap someone else, and it's going to duplicate that one. So let's go to the color and eyedropper. Let's pull us a lighter color this time. And let me get the lightest color I can get. And let's apply that. Let's go back to our line here. I'm going to put a couple of versions of this light one here. And then I'm going to add a new one. Insert. There we go. And then the color now, we're going to choose a dark one. Alright, and then we'll start to see. Did gradient overlay just, oh, okay. Just did what it wanted to do just now. I must have confused it because it didn't think that I was trying to pick a color. It thought I was trying to pick an object. So I'm going to make sure that it knows I'm picking a color right now, and I am picking one of the darker golds, and then I'm going to hit the circle to apply it. And you'll see that on here on this preview right now, we're getting a little taste of this darker to lighter. And I'm going to copy this darker one and drag it. I'm going to delete that lighter one so we don't have too much variation going on, but enough to make it look like we got a little metallic situation. And then we have to increase this radius so we can even see what it looks like, what we're doing right now. And now I can kind of see how this gradient is applying, and I'm happy with that. I may actually, let me make it go 90 degrees. I like my gradients to go up and down. And from here, I can change the radius of this stroke, bring it down a little now, since I know what it looks like. So that is my gradient that makes this look metallic. You would do the exact same thing in Photoshop. One thing is now, can I save this as a style? I don't know. Can I just grab that and save that gradient? I can insert, copy, delete. There has to be a way to save your gradients. Well, I guess I won't worry about it right now. But in Photoshop, I showed you all today how to take your gradients and add it and hit the new button when you create a gradient, and it will save it to your gradient swatches. So don't see that option here, but that's cool. We'll leave it as is. I am looks the same as my Photoshop version now. Now my Your and Approval has the same layer effect, but just a different font style. So I'm still going to, let's see if I do Alt and drag. I can get an alternate version of this, and I'm going to Alt and drag one more time. So my I am, let's grab my text tool, and this one is going to say Your. And then this other one is going to say Approval. APPROVAL, and the font for approval is Adi New. Baby's new and Adi New. I can hear y'all probably saying it how I say it, which is probably not the best influence, but it is what it is. All right, so Adi New. Let's not caps lock, ADI New. Okay, and I guess that kind of looks like the Adidas logo typeset or font. Let's do Your, and let's see. That font is Master of Comics. Your, let's do Master of Comics. That one. And see, for this one, I may have to increase the gold outline just a little bit to make sure that I can see it. So I'm going to increase the radius. Yes, that's it right there. And then I also might want to do a little bit of a emboss to this one. Just to give it a little bit more of a 3D look, because you know I like to make things look like you can't do this with vinyl. Alright, so that's that. And then if I like this, I think, can I copy the layer style? In Photoshop, we would right click, copy layer style, and paste layer style. But let me see if that option is here. I think I can. Just copy and paste the effects, or drag the effect. I don't know. I don't want to confuse y'all right now. Just go on here. That's why when I create something I want it exact, I just go ahead and do it how I want it, and then create a new version of it. So we'll increase. Oh, this is still. Oh, this is on the I am. We want to be on the approval. Double click on the effects, and let's increase that radius. We're good to go on that. Close it. And pretty much those are my elements. I do have some little diamonds here. I don't know where I put those diamonds, but I will make sure that you have them. Diamonds on a transparent background. Now, yeah, it didn't let me just drag them straight from Photoshop. I was tripping. I thought that might work, but apparently I was gravely mistaken. So I'm going to go ahead and save it from my Photoshop file as a PNG so that I can pull it into here as a PNG. And then that way both template files, the Affinity template file and the Photoshop template file, will have all of these designs. So let's go temp, save that. And we should be able to bring it right on in. Drop it from the folder. There we go. We got some little diamonds. Okay, what else did we have? We had that shoe in there, and some people were inquiring about how to do the shoe, so I suppose I will go ahead and export that as a PNG as well so we can work on in this design. And the good thing is, like, some people don't like the shoe, some people love the shoe. Either way, what you'll be able to do is take out elements and things you don't like, and you don't have to talk trash about people's designs and that sort of thing. You can just do your own thing and make sure that it's something that you like and you represent well. So let me quick export that one as a PNG on my Photoshop program so that we can pull it in as its own file. Glitter high heel is what I have it as. And y'all are gonna have some lit templates, yes. Ready to go, ready to create some designs for this week, these upcoming games. I hope you all are taking advantage of your local sports. So I always say that although I do a lot of focusing on these major sports teams because it's what y'all want to see, I want y'all to make sure you're taking care of your local people. All right, so I think my file has saved. If I get into the right file, and then I'm gonna bring in this glitter heel. Ooh, all right, glitter heel. So we have all these elements, and now it's like, okay, where are we gonna put it? What we're gonna do? Oh, another thing y'all like to do is bring in these PNG images of these ladies. So let me see if I can find girl PNG. Oh. All right, so it might take me a little while to find this one. Let me see if I just have me a good PNG of a lady. All right, so I guess y'all are gonna get more than you bargained for with this one. This one. I don't know if y'all are ready for this, but let's do it. Now, I cannot include this image because this is someone else's stock image. So let me see if I can download it and pull it in. Where is it? Go. I have so many files. Lord have mercy. All right, let's bring her in. Come on, baby girl. She's up here somewhere off to the side. So we can bring in these type of elements too. And when y'all get these, they sell you these PNGs in all these different colors, and you're like, okay, well, I gotta buy more PNGs if I don't have colors. And there are ways to change the color. So I think maybe we'll play with that today. So let's do an option where we have the heel, and I know you all like to put the logos on the heels too, so we'll work on that. But right now the emphasis is working with these lips. That's one of the things that we're learning today. We did it with the fingerprint. It's going to be the exact same process that we did with the fingerprint in Photoshop. We're going to do that with the lips in this Affinity program. All right, character, I need you to move. Thank you. Okay, so the same way we clip the glitter into the text is how we would clip the glitter into the lips. I'm gonna grab my glitter from yep, will it? Let's see if it'll let me grab the glitter from here. Yeah, but it's also bringing the mask with it. So let's see if I can take that mask off. Let's click here and take the mask off. Okay, so it preserved my glitter. Cool beans. I don't know if anybody else says cool beans. I probably say a little too much. So let's drag that glitter now over our lips and to the right. And maybe I didn't do that right. Where did my lips go? Step back a second. Control Z. I want to delete this layer mask. Let's delete it. We don't need it on this one. So I just want it to be its own single element that I can pull onto my kiss lips layers. And clip it in there. Now for some reason it did not clip to my lips, so let me see why that is. I'm going to undo 2 more levels and see what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and rasterize that gold glitter swatch because I don't know what was going on with it. It was brought over from Photoshop. It may have had some little funkiness to it because it did have a clipping mask to it initially. Even when I removed the clipping mask, it's still. So it is allowing it to let me rasterize my SVG right now. I should not have to rasterize an SVG in order to get the image clip option, but I don't know if that's what's going on and causing me issues. No, that's not it either. Oh, how did who I am get clipped in here? No ma'am, that's not where you're supposed to be. You are on your own out there, and I am trying to get my lips and pull them to the top so I can see what I'm working with. Take my glitter, pull it to the top. Just turn it off and make sure everything else I didn't mess up. Okay, great. So I am supposed to take it and pull, there we go, pull it to the right, pull it on top of the layer and then a little bit underneath it to the right. And that worked. I don't know why I wasn't doing this before. So I think I had some lettering that was trapped inside of my clipping mask, so I moved the wrong thing at one point in time. But nonetheless, we have glitter lips. So now you know how to do that. It's the same thing with putting the flags and all that good stuff. So we're going to change the sign in the future few minutes to show the lips, how you can do the flag just like we did the DNA fingerprint. So Saints Girl, we're going to put I am. We go back to my original image because I think we had the shoe over here on this side. So let's turn the shoe back on. bring the lips and maybe rotate them a little bit. Bring them below. And make sure we don't clip it in there, just bring it below the shoe and the diamonds. Let's grab these diamonds and bring that below all of the words. Oh, so if you're not careful, you will clip things that you don't intend to clip. So make sure you stay on this outside edge here so you can ensure that it's just moving the order of the layers and not clipping them inadvertently. So who I am, I'm going to move that over a little bit, and that can overlap with the diamonds, and I didn't do too much damage there to our design. Your and approval, I'm going to make sure we're actually making sense now. I have seen some shirts where it does not make sense how things are read. Sometimes it's even funny how it's read. So make sure that you're making sense. Alright, so let's take the your, grab it, pull it down a little bit. And we have a whole 13 by 19 space to work with, so we got plenty of space to make this image look dynamic. And grab just the lips again. Like I said, if you don't like the shoe, then don't use the shoe. Just make the lips big, or find some other image that you like. This is your design. So we have Saints Girl, I am who I am. Your approval isn't needed. And bam, just like that, you have a design. If you really do want to put that logo on the shoe, let me show you how to do that. That would be the same way we were doing with the DNA. Like I said, these are the same concepts. So basically, even if you watch the Photoshop tutorial, you'll learn how to do the files that we brought over today and vice versa. If you do this tutorial with the Saints Girl in Photoshop, you'll be able to do both of these concepts with the same concepts today, just different designs. What was I doing? I got thrown off of my own game. Let's see. I was, finding the saint symbol somewhere in here. Let's go to this football DNA one. Did have a logo in there, but it's turned. I want to keep the logo in its original orientation, so I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to drag a version of it to the very, very top. So I know I didn't mess with my original. I'm going to close back up my original, so I leave it alone. Close back up my Africa. I'm going to leave you alone. And then all of this right now, I'm going to shift, select these, and Control G so I can add those to a group. And I'm going to call this group I am who I am. Approval isn't needed. Okay, so we've got that. And then if I want the shoe in here, I can drag that into my group. Shoes in that group now. I'm going to expand the group because it is what I'm actively working in. And then I'm going to take the logo and drag it right on top, not clipping it or anything, but I'm going to put it right on top of the shoe right now. And then I have to move it. And I'm just going to show you a few of these because I know some people have plastered these all over the place. I'm just going to do a few of them. And then if you want to go back and do them in different sizes, you absolutely can. And then this top one, I'm probably going to turn it. So I'm going to get right over that corner, and once I get to the corner, it turns into a little bended arrow. And I can use that to rotate the image. I move this one a little lower so that it's not touching. And all of these symbols, I can take every last one of them, and I'm going to clip it to the glitter heel. So I'm going to hover over the heel, and you see how it automatically indented it to the right? I'm going to drop it there, and it should should have clipped that inside of my heel, but it did not. So let me see why. Let me undo that. I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to group those, and then once I group them, I'm just going to go ahead and rasterize them. Maybe it's a little too complicated to clip the vector version of them. I don't know. I'm not going to guess right now. I'm just going to do. Like I said, we're in this to problem solve. And this should have clipped inside of my high heel, but it did not. Let me undo that, step back again, step back one more time. And let me see if I need to rasterize. Rasterize to mask. Oh, I guess that's if it had a mask, I could rasterize it to that mask. But let me just rasterize it in general and see if this makes this easier right now. Now the glitter is a pixel instead of an object that I brought in. So I have a pixel to a pixel, and now it clips. Whew. Okay, so I told y'all that I may not know something exactly, but I will darn sure figure it out. That's the problem solver in me and you. So it did well with the pixel to pixel. In Photoshop, it does not matter. It could be a vector that you're applying, as long as there's a shape that Photoshop can read as a contour shape that is a PNG, it would have done it. But you know, I'm not ragging on Affinity, but that's one of the reasons why I do see this as a limitation. Let's do a different blend mode here, because this 100% opacity isn't doing it for me, and neither is it just laying on top. So let's do something. Okay, multiply. I'm liking multiply. We're gonna go with that. And then the opacity, I might even still bring it down just a little bit. Okay, that looks good to me. And then too much of my image is going into the interior of the shoe. So one thing I can do to kind of cheat that is to just reduce the size of them so they're not even interacting with that inside of the shoe. That's going to be my little cheat mode today. But I could also, you know what, let me show you how to do this, because layer masks are important. Let me drag it back to where it's on there. Let's zoom in and let's say, okay, you are where you are and you are interfering with the inside of my shoe. I'm going to create a layer mask here. This is mask layer. And then I'm going to use my paintbrush. And right now I have the star selected, so let me grab a different brush, more of standard round hard brush, and we're going to make sure that we have the color black selected, because black is going to conceal. You see I'm painting over this area and it's disappearing. I'm not actually deleting any real pixels. I'm only deleting what is visible from this layer mask. And I have a really small brush selected right now. You know, someone told me to take off the stabilizer and it would remove that little tail. But I liked how the stabilizer was helping me, you know, to control my stroke. So I might actually use the stabilizer sometimes. But thank you for, I can't remember the person who made the comment that told me that, but thank you. I learned something from you all, and that's not a rare occasion. I learned something from you all the time. All right, so that is technically our design in a nutshell. Like I said, if you were wanting to not have the high heel, you could turn that layer off, and then of course you would have to adjust things here. But now let's say this is what I've been doing on the other ones. Whenever we created a variation, let me bring my high heel back. So I'm going to say this is a variation. So now I'm going to right click on this group and we're going to duplicate it. So now let's say this one's going to be a flag version. So we had the football heel version. Let's make this one a flag version. Okay, so We're going to remove Saints logo. We'll leave the lips for now. And then we'll leave the word Saints Girl because we'll change that to whatever we like. And I'm trying to think, Boricua. I think we'll use that one. I see that a lot. And I'm just so glad that everyone is so proud of their culture and background and representing that. So I like to celebrate it as well. Even if I don't know a lot about it, I am willing to learn. So you guys let me know if I ever do something that's like crazy, like, ooh, I put that word with that word, that don't go. Let me know. I don't take offense to it. Actually, I take it as an opportunity to really learn and grow and become a lot more responsible about my cultural awareness. And for those wondering, I had a lot of people asking me, my dad's black, my mom's white. I was raised by my dad pretty much my entire life since I was 5. My mom left, and my dad raised my brother and myself. So that is my background. Like, as far as how I look, I get all kind of people ask me, am I Puerto Rican, Mexican, Honduran, Hawaiian? I've even got Chinese one time before. So I don't take your questions to that as an offense. I actually do. I find it quite flattering that people want to know who I am and what I'm made of, and that I can look like I'm part of their gang. So they always want to include me. Oh, you look like you're one of us. Okay. So yeah. And I think my great grandmother is Seminole Indian as far as what I've been told. I need to do a little research into that. But that kind of plays into the mix too. And that would be my dad's grandmother. All right, so let's see. Now we're gonna go with this Puerto Rican flair, right? So let me find a Puerto Rican flag. Puerto Rico flag. Images. And so we're going to put the flag on the lips, just like we did with the DNA print. So let me find a good flag. I like to find flags that aren't just like flat. I like to find the ones that have the flowiness to them. But sometimes the flat flags work better depending on how you're applying the effect. And my slow internet is taking its time because it's getting attention from you all, so it just has to show out, you know, just like the kids. Now, hopefully I spelled this right because, of course, it's not English, but yeah. Okay, I spelled it right. So now, and then what we're going to play with is changing the color of the glitter too, because we're probably going to want it to be our red, white, and blue theme. So let me take my flag. It's going to open in Photoshop. That's not what I wanted, sir. I wanted you to drag over into my artboard, straight from the nets of enters. And I keep doing this Control T. That's why you keep seeing this text box thing pop up. I'm used to Control T on Photoshop to transform these objects. I have to figure out, I guess you don't have to do it on this one because when you click on the object, it automatically lets you transform it. So y'all see that text box keep popping up. That's me. I'm messing up. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this same flag and we're gonna drag it into the lips. So see how it clipped right in there? And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna drag a version of the flag too. Let's do it big. Let's put it on the high heel too. Uh-oh, Control Z. I didn't do what I wanted. I thought I was creating a copy of the flag when I was holding down Alt, but apparently I lied to myself. I didn't do that. So maybe Let me undo a couple of steps. If I alt select the flag from inside of the clipping mask, it moves it. So I need to alt click from the top and bring it in. That way I keep my original flag at the top level. But no, I still did it. I'm alt. Let me just duplicate. I don't think the alt thing is working within my layers panel. So let me just duplicate it, and then I can be sure that I'm dragging a copy and not my original. So I'm dragging the copy, pulling it in, bringing it to the right, and then I'm going to take off the visibility of this top one. Bam, I see it, perfect. Now I can transform, well, I'm not going to, in Photoshop you would Control T to transform it. So in here, we just click on it and it allows me to change it up. So we've got these beautiful lips here, beautiful color going on. And let's see what playing with these layers. Now we want to stay true to the color, so I don't want the gold coming through as white. I'm going to see if there's like, in Photoshop there is a color option. Color's working, but it's not coming through like I want it to. Ooh, that reminds me, we could have done Jamaica or Bahamas. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Now this one, this pen light is letting a little bit of that glitter come through. Soft light is letting the gold come through a little bit. I think what I'm gonna have to do is do a color like overlay. And then for the gold, I'm gonna add a color adjustment to it. So you see down here you have your adjustments next to effects. Let's do black and white. Where are you, black and white? There we go. Let's move this to the side. So when I do black and white, what it does is it takes the tone out of it, so you only get like a grayscale. And that's perfect because now my glitter is basically silver. And if I were to close out of this and show you like without the flag, now the lip should look silver. So now you know how, if you find a glitter, if you want to take the color out of it, make it black and white so that it's silver, then that way any color you apply to it definitely has, takes on the more of a neutral base of color. So I think I want this to be a little more vibrant. So let me right click and I'm going to duplicate. Can I duplicate? Yes, I can. All right, so I'm going to duplicate it, and then this time I may not choose overlay. I might choose another option that just kind of adds a little bit to this layer, because I still want to see a little bit of my glitter effect. Soft light gave me a little bit of glitter back. And then the other thing is I'm going to turn it off, like the visibility off, and then turn it back on. Then that way when I play with my opacity, I can see how it really helps or hurts it. So that's without it at all, and I'm adding a little bit more color onto it. I still want to see my little glitter bits, so I'm happy with that. And there's white in this too, so that's going to kind of make it a little difficult to see. So if you wanted to, you could even maybe add a little drop shadow to the lips. The only thing I don't like about drop shadows to the lips is because it has an opening. As a matter of fact, I will just show you better than I can tell you. There's openings in these creases of the lips. So if we did, what do we call it? Not an outer glow. I want to do an outer shadow. You see, the cracks will show up, but if I make it too dark, it takes away the look of that being white space. Caution blur, where are you on? Outer shadow. And it just doesn't make my cracks and my lips believable anymore as white space. It makes it look more like an outline, which in that case I would rather do an outline in white instead of black. Bring it all the way up here to the top, and then increase that radius, and I get more of that pure white back. And then the drop shadow would appear on the outside of the lips, but I don't even think I'm feeling any of that. Maybe the outer shadow with a little less opacity, just to give it a little. I couldn't see my white before, and I don't want to disrespect the flag by trying to make it like a little bit darker just to get that glitter effect. I want it to be white because that's the colors of the flag. If I made it gray, then it wouldn't necessarily be their colors, just so I can see the glitter. All right, so let's close on that one. And then let's say we take off the heel on this one. And you can add it back. This is going to be a little bit different design. What I'm trying to show you is that you can use the same elements, the same techniques, and create your own magic. Now I've moved both of these flags at the same time because they are pretty much both applying to these lips right now. And then I'm going to go to the top layer of the lips, and then I'm going to rotate it. And make these lips nice and big. And I'm trying to also visually get this centered. I'm sure we can do view and rulers like we do in Photoshop, show rulers. If I really wanted to know where the center of this was, this is in pixels right now, but I can imagine, or is it in pixels? Yes, definitely in pixels. So right now it's telling me I have 1950, so half of 1950. Y'all gotta forgive me because I am tired and it's late. So it'd be 8 and 875. Wait, is that 875? Child, let me not try to do this right now. Let me tell y'all something. I have a PhD in engineering, and I still, simplest little things. That's a calendar, not a calculator. See, in Photoshop, I get spoiled. I just drag it and I see a pink line pop up. Maybe there's a divided by 2, 975. Did I say 975? I think I did, but only the video knows. So 975. Why is it snapping to 978? So we're going to get 974, and that's going to be as close as we get. At least that's going to show you what your center line is. All right, lips. So you were about center. See, I eyeballed that, and I was pretty much right. Math might not be on point, but my eyeballs are. All right, so let's say for Boricua, we want to do the same thing. We can go to the glitter from this one. Let's click off, click on to just the Boricua words, and then we'll go to the gold, click on it, add an adjustment of black and white. There we go. Now let's just say we want to do straight up red to this. Let's go ahead and do another color adjustment, and let's do normally we can just add a color to the top. So let's see how we're going to do this, and see if color balance works for us. The thing is, we got black and white selected underneath it, so this is probably not going to do anything for us unless we turn the black and white off. But then, oh, that's on the wrong one. Maybe supposed to be down here on Boricua. Turn off the color balance and the black and white. Now back on the color balance. There we go. So this one I can change my midtones, my highlights probably, and my shadows. So if you want to kind of keep the glitter, ooh, that pink looks really pretty. That's pureed. I really don't want to do all this, y'all. I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. No, no, no. Not when it comes to color adjusting. All I want to do is I'll do a black and white. I'll turn that back on so it keeps everything neutral. And then if I can't do it with an adjustment layer here, because with Photoshop I can do an adjustment layer and just add color, like literally a flat color. And if I can't do that way, then we'll just do a new layer. And it's black and white underneath it, so we got a new pixel layer. And I'm going to go with my fill bucket, if I can find it. There we go. My fill tool. I'm going to go to my color, and I'm going to choose a red, and I'm just going to fill that red. So for right now, it looks like it covered it up, and that's fine because all we're going to do is figure out which blend mode works best with this. So opacity is at 100% right now. We're just going to pull this down until we find a blend mode that makes that glitter pop. And of course we need to see some of the highlights in the glitter too, so it's not going to be all about just covering it up with red. And it looks like overlay gives us the same effect, but just like the lips, I don't feel like it gave me enough of the color. Hard light is kind of doing it. Looks like pen light's doing that pretty well. So I'm gonna leave it pen light, and then what we're gonna do is the same thing for who I am, except for who I am, we can make that maybe blue. So I'm gonna take the black and white, and let me see if I can duplicate. Oh no, I did not mean to cut, sir. Let's take these two, and can I group that? Okay, so I can group within a clipping mask. That's cool. So I'm grouping that, and then I'm going to duplicate it so that I can pull that into the who I am. So I'm going to just hover over the who I am, drop it into there, and see how it automatically changed it to red. I want the who I am to be blue. So I'm going to go within this little group I created, go to my pixel layer with the color, and I can use my color picker to pick some blue. Let's see if it's going to pick me a good blue. Looks like it picked a good blue. And I hit the circle to apply that color to my current selection, and then I have to fill it with the fill bucket. So fill it. Now it's changed to blue. And now you notice that the same pen light effect didn't do for blue quite what it did. Well, I guess it did do it for red. But maybe what I need to do here is take the outline for blue, since it's so close to the dark color. Maybe the outline for who I am needs to be white. So let's go to the outline. Let's choose solid color. Let's drag it over to white, and automatically I see a difference there. And I may even increase that radius a little bit. Maybe I'll do it to the red too. I really like that. So for the Boricua, let's change that as well. I want to be on this layer. What is this? Oh, this is everything. Just choosing my group. Alright, so let me just select the word itself, because for some reason it keeps selecting the whole group, and I don't know if it's got some kind of smart selection on. Sometimes in Photoshop it'll have the smart selector on and it will not be that smart, and it'll be clicking all the wrong stuff and frustrating the mess out of you. So for the color, let's change the color of the outline, and in Photoshop it would be called the stroke. We're going to change it to white. And let's increase, well, that's the outer shadow. I wonder what that was. Let me undo. I want my outer shadow. I want my outline to change to white. Drag that up. I wonder why I was looking at it like it's not changing right in front of my face. Perfect. So let's get a little more thickness out of that outline. I told you I do this little sticker technique all the time. I make things look like stickers with a little shadow to it. It's just one of my things. Your approval isn't needed. It's about that time where I need to give me some rest. I start getting real goofy on y'all. Alright, so I need the I am. Alright, so I got Barigua, who I am. Let's take the lips and drag them. Take the lips and we'll put them towards the bottom layer. And I want to make sure I'm not clipping it into anything. I'm just dragging it below the layers. So now I can take the I am and pull that down. That's taking forever to do with the arrow, so let me just drag it. And we have the I am, and of course we're doing red, white, and blue. So let's do the I am in, where is the I am? Is it needed? Boricua. I am, where are you? I bet I'm missing, clipped it in somewhere. Where are you? Oh. Oops. I don't know if I made copies of this before. So hopefully I wasn't messing up my flag design. Let me see. Oh no, I was just typing in the wrong layer. Typical me. So let's pull this. Yeah, we'll close that. And pull this all the way up to where I'm supposed to be. And it's going to be behind who I am, but not clipped into it. Alright. Then I guess that's the same thing for the your. Got down here, and approval is way down here. Uh-oh. I'm going to select shift so I can grab both of those, and somehow that needs to be behind isn't needed. There we go. And then maybe we don't want the diamonds on there, and if not, that's cool. Let's delete those. If you want the diamonds, they're in the other layer. Go get them. You can definitely change this up. Alright, so who I am, your approval isn't needed. And then instead of what this isn't needed, I'm just going to go ahead and delete it and take from my Boricua and Alt, drag it so I get a copy of it. So I'm going to keep that same red and then I'll double click here or click with my text tool. Control A is selecting all, and then let's type, and maybe I can spell it right this time, isn't needed. And let's go ahead and make this smaller so we can fit. And of course, it looks like my color didn't fit because we came off the edge there, and that's fine. We will take our red group and adjust it accordingly. And that's probably what I need to do with this extra color anyway, just so it's not so big and all over the place. We'll do the same thing for the Boricua. Let's take the color. And that might be why it's harder to select some of this other stuff. Okay. Let's take the I am, and let's recolor that one. So we'll click on the effects, and it has this outline on there. We'll keep the outline, but let's just do a simple color instead of a gradient. And we'll make it the blue color. So let's take our eyedropper, grab a dark blue, and then select the circle in order to apply that. And then maybe for the inside text, let's do a color overlay. And then let's choose white. And now for the outline, we're going to need the outline to be a little bit thicker. And then maybe even do from the center. Ew, no. Let's keep it to the outside. And then I'm not happy with this flat color, so I am definitely going to do a gradient. You guessed it. So let's go to our gradient and let's just switch out some of these colors. Let's take this dark blue, just grab some the darkest of the dark blue from somewhere, apply it. I'm going to copy that, move it, copy it again, move it again. So that's my darkest of blue. And then I'm going to delete these others. So now I have all dark blue. I can go ahead and create a new color stop here, and then I'm going to click on the color in order to change it with the eyedropper. Let me grab me a really nice royal blue right there. And then let's apply that color by clicking on the circle, see what we have, and then I'm going to copy that one, bring it between the dark. Copy another one, make it a little more intense there, and let's copy it one more time. And we have us a little gradient there. And then for the color overlay, I'm going to say let's do a gradient overlay. We'll do the black to the white, but what we'll do is a 90-degree angle. Hit enter. And then instead of pure black to white, what we're going to do is take this black and just make it like one of the versions of this gray here. And then we'll hit the circle to apply it. And now it goes like from a nice soft gray to a white. It's not a stark white. And we get a little bit of a little funky color flare there. So we've got that now. I just don't see a way to copy and paste the layer style. So in Photoshop, you can copy the layer style and paste it to another layer. It doesn't quite give me that option here. I'm I'm sure there's some way to save it, like maybe if I pull this to the layer styles, does it save me as a style? A new style? Nope. And I have to figure out how to do that. But when I figure out how to do that, trust me, y'all will be the first to know because I promise I will boast about it. So for right now, just because I don't want to have to redo this styling here, I'm going to Alt, bring my text down. I'm going to retype the word your and just change it. And as a matter of fact, let me do the approval. Okay. I want to do APPROVAL and let's zoom out. We'll change that. The font was, what was it again? ADI. And then we'll just pull it here, bring it down a little bit. We're going to delete this other approval. And then the your, I'll do white with a red outline. This is all subjective, I promise you. And I don't have any of this stuff planned out, and sometimes I'll do it and absolutely hate it, and sometimes I'll wake up and it'll be okay to me again. So this one was master comments, and then it's not supposed to say approval, it's supposed to say your, capital Y-O-U-R. And I'm trying to play with placement a little bit. So let's say for this one we do an a red outline. Let's go to our effects. We got that gradient going on, we might as well keep it going. So how are we going to change the gradient now? We're going to our color stop. We're going to change our color to one of the dark reds, darkest of dark. Hit that circle to apply it. And then I can keep these here just to kind of let me know where my points were as far as my darkness and lightness, but it is not necessary. I can copy that one 3 times. Here we go, and 1, 2, and 3 will be my darkest. Now let me just go ahead and delete some of these other ones. And that way I can just focus on creating a new one and changing that color to be one of my lighter red colors. Brighter red, there we go. Let's apply that color. See what we're working with. Perfect. Let's copy it, put it there and there, and now I have my red gradient. All right. All right, so I think we are pretty much done with this one. So we did a flag, did a logo, we did some glitter, clipping. I'm trying to see, was there anything else on the Photoshop one that we have not touched on this one, because we're getting into like a 4-hour tutorial, guys. Whew, ciao. Let's do, maybe I would slant that one a little bit. Alright, so I did Control T again if you didn't see that. I think we're good to go on this one. I'm trying to make sure that everything we did in Photoshop, we've applied the same concepts here. So let's take a look at what we've come up with for today. So this is our, I'm going to call this one flag. I am who I am. FLAG. And then this one is so y'all are gonna have to recreate the approval isn't needed. That's what happened. It wasn't a part of this group because it was down there at the bottom, and I was wondering where all those spare parts come from. You ever had somebody take something apart and they were fixing on your vehicle or in your house, and then all of a sudden you just have random spare parts? Yeah, I thought those were random spare parts, and they were actually a part of this design. So I guess you got some homework. You can recreate those from this one. All you need is the word your and approval and change it back to the black. Oh yeah, you need the I am too. That makes perfect sense why that was not in the layer. Next time I'll have to check that and make sure that everything else is turned off so you know what you're actually moving and working with. So yeah, you're gonna have to pull that in there, but you got that. Because your girl is tired. I'm not doing that over again. And then let's see what else we have. This one. And I think it did pull. Yeah, so one thing I'm learning, even though I'm holding down Alt and pulling things, it is not creating duplicates. When I do Alt on the artboard, it creates a duplicate. When I did Alt within the layers, it did not create a duplicate, so it did take away my glitter and everything that I had in there. So let me go back to Saints. That one there. Let me duplicate that glitter so I can bring it back onto, clipped into my Africa. There we go. Then I may have to rotate it. So yeah, be wary of that. I wasn't recognizing that a lot of times when I think I'm pulling elements from a design, I'm actually taking them away from the design. I'm not making duplicates of it. So just manually for right now until I figure out what the shortcut option is, right click and duplicate something within your layers panel. If you're on the artboard, when you hold down Alt, you can see it making a copy, but it obviously is not working like that in my layers panel. So, and then the it's in my, it had glitter on the it's in my too, and I don't know if that didn't drag in, but if it didn't, what am I gonna do instead of Alt dragging from layers? If you're in Photoshop, you can Alt drag in the layers. In this program, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate and then drag my duplicate. So I'm gonna drag my duplicate inside of my it's in my, and bam, got that back. So this one looks like it originally did. So we have that one done. Yep, because remember I stole one of these little symbols down here to bring up in my thing, my image with the lips. And yes, when you Alt drag from layers panel, it does not create a duplicate. But everything else aside, I think we have our layers, we have our clipping paths. Now this one didn't do quite how I would have wanted with the little paint mask that we did. I think it did it. It did. I see the little edges of the paint mask a little bit. And then the flag, that was the flag. So this one isn't flag. This one is supposed to say logo fingerprint. Let's call that one logo fingerprint. We have the flag fingerprint. Then we have a football with the logo. Then we have Africa with the glitter. Then we have I am who I am with the lips and the high heel shoe with the logos clipped to the high heel shoe. And then the flag with the lips and the your approval isn't needed. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 designs we've created here. 6 of them, buddy. And then we won't even do the female right now because honestly, that would take this well over into time. But this is basically, you've created your own arsenal of template files that you can use when people ask you to do the DNA type apparel. So that's going to be it for tonight. I still have so much more work to do, but I wanted to share with you all. Um, Basically, this is going to be helping me prep for some of the designs I need to do for my on-demand setup that I'm doing, FAMU Homecoming. So I'm really excited about that. And we'll also be doing some other events, hopefully all around the United States. So if you guys have any suggestions for what events you would like me to show up to and possibly even get a chance to learn for free, because I do most of the time, it's very, very fast paced and is not for the faint of heart, but I do on demand printing and setups, and then I allow people who want to learn this type of setup and see if they can possibly do this sort of thing locally as well, allow them to come and shadow and help out and get to ask questions and put their hands on the process. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Maybe give me some good ideas of events that you would be interested in seeing us work, and that preferably will be closer to where you are, and then we will put together a budget, and if it fits, then we might be able to make that happen. So I think that's it for tonight. If you haven't seen the previous video and you're just here for the affinity, I'm going to remind you to like, subscribe, hit the bell. Even if you don't purchase things from me, I am totally not offended. I am one of those people who will watch for free as much as I can before I purchase anything. So I ask you to support me in the sense of helping my channel grow, share this information, like and comment. Those things help me out as well, because the more I'm able to do this, the more I'm able to help you guys. So I'm gonna call it a night on that. And if you need anything, you know where to hit me up. Innate Lab, as my niece used to say it when she was little. Innate Lab. That's us. And go ahead and hit us up. Check us out for fonts. This font is available. It's called the Supremely Box font. And I've been working on these fonts, guys. I'm trying to really come up with some dope fonts that, you all can just straight up make designs and be ready to go. So let me know if there's any suggestions you have for that as well. I'll be posting this hopefully sometime tonight, and if not, you'll get it whenever YouTube says it's ready, because it tries me to. Thank you guys. Good night, and y'all have a great one.